Boy, this has been a busy, busy day, and we're back with Black Business Monday. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Everyone, tell everyone to join in. I'm just really excited about this edition because I like supporting Black businesses, and I go out and find little hidden gems. That's what I call them. And I just find them and like them. And I found someone online who happens to be my soror, my Delta soror, and it's called Legacy Dream Luxury. And I was like, oh wow, oh wow, oh wow. I said, let me see. But before we even get into that, let me say hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. It's spring, whatever you want to call it, spring, summer, whatever. I'm excited to be with you. This is the latest edition of Black Business Monday. My name is April Ryan, and it's brought to you by Jer Candles, jercandles.com. If you don't know, you will find out. Go to jercandles.com. Hello, everyone. I know a lot of my sorors on here because they're looking for a certain person, Legacy Dream Luxury. And if you can accept the request, come on, Legacy Dream Luxury, waiting for you to join. I see you there. Now let's get you to accept the invite, request an invite so I can accept it, because everybody's trying to do it but you. Because we're going to talk about some major cosmetics made by a Black woman who happens to be a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. She's got a lot of good stuff, guys. So join on in. I'm waiting for you to join in. I see you there. Let me see if she's there now. There she is. All right, she should be joining. She got all the sorors on. I know that. Okay, let me see. There she
You
is.
can see me.
Hey, how are you?
I'm trying to see you. Okay, there I am. I'm fine. How are you, April?
I am fine. It's great. It's great to see you. I'm just opening up your package now. So, real quick. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Hold on. One of them fell out. But let me tell you real quick. I was online, everyone, and I saw these lip glosses, and they were interesting because they were under the names of many of the trailblazing women. And I said, oh my gosh, like Shirley Chisholm and Barbara Jordan and Fanny and Dorothy. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? And I loved it. And then I saw under this wonderful, all of this wonderful packaging, you also have eyeshadow, etc. I mean, let's go there. Okay, someone says, okay, I don't know who's saying, please text me, April. So I don't know who that is. But how are you doing, Cynthia? What's going
I
on?
am doing great. I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day. I had a pretty wonderful Mother's Day, and
Catherine, why
I'm
am I
just
calling you
excited.
Cynthia? It's Catherine. What am I saying? I have a cousin named Cynthia. Hey, Catherine, you remind me of my cousin. So, but anyway, Catherine she's got the most amazing brands, and she's a soror. So tell all the sorors to join. Everybody join. First of all, my Mother's Day was great. It feels better because I'm looking at all these packages and packaging. I mean, you got the most beautiful foil packaging.
Thank you.
This branding is hot. And
Thank
then
you.
we go to the sorority packaging. I
Absolutely.
love it. I mean, and what people don't understand is one thing to make a product, but then the business of the product, to have the packaging to make it appealing. First of all, let's start out with your story. Let's start off with your story, Catherine, and figure out, you know, yesterday to today, where you are, what. Talk to me about it. Why did you decide to do this?
So, April, for me, I had a beautiful legal career. I am a lawyer turned entrepreneur. So for many years, my calling and my purpose was to be a lawyer.
Hmm.
But I had cases that I would attend in many different states, different cities. I'd go to maybe 2 cities a week. And every time I'd land in a city, I'd be so excited to show them my legal knowledge and, win the case and so forth. But what would happen, April, is after I would win the case, people would approach me very quickly, and I would think they're going to talk about the case, and they'd say, "What do you do for your skincare?
Your
What
skin is pretty
makeup are you?
nice now. I'm not gonna lie.
What makeup are you wearing?
Really?
What do you do for
Really?
your eyebrows? And it would be judges, court reporters, lawyers on the other end,
Now,
clients.
when you have a judge on the bench in the road, leaning over, not paying attention to the case, but looking at your makeup, something's not good.
And I'm telling you, and I just, I kept thinking it just keeps coming up. It keeps coming up. And then one day I was just in a store with a friend of mine and someone remarked about my makeup. And she said, Kathy, how often do people say something to you about makeup, talk to you about makeup without any prodding or any, anything that you've done? And I said to her, if I had $1 for every time someone did that, I wouldn't have to work.
Mm. So that's interesting. Now, how long ago was that? And then when did you decide to fully go in to make lipsticks, lip glosses, and or lip tints, and then also these palettes? These we're going to get into more. This is another one. Okay, we're going to get into all of this. But when, tell me the timeline because there are a lot of people out here who are studying it in school, and you were a lawyer by trade who decided to say, "Wait a minute, let me make a turn," because people are commenting and I mean, and I'm going to say I was impressed by what I saw on social media.
Mhm.
And that's why, for those of you, I bought me some Barbara. I love the Barbara. And let me show you, I line my lips and let me
Yes.
show you. Typically, I put on another, I put in about 3 or 4 colors, but I just line my lip and then here's the Barbara. I lined it with chestnut from MAC. Okay.
Right.
All right. Now look.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
April. Yes.
That's Barbara. And it's creaming. Mm.
And vegan as well.
Come on, vegan. Now that's what I'm trying to. Yes. Look at that. I love that. That's chestnut. And this is her Barbara. This is Legacy Dream Luxury. Legacy Dream Luxury. I bought this, I don't know how long ago. She sent me a little
Yeah,
thank you.
I
I
did.
still have the thing because I wanted to keep it because I wanted to order some more. It's just that good.
Thank you
It's just
so much. And every package, just so everybody knows, comes with a little flyer that will show you the stories of the women so that you can see the stories of the women that these colors are named after. And on the back, it tells you what the colors look like. And for some of our newer collections, it will actually tell you the stories of the women.
Nancy.
And so
Nancy Wilson, Aretha Franklin, and Frankie. Who's Frankie?
Frankie's Frankie M. Freeman.
Okay, all right,
And so let me
all right.
to your question because it's an interesting question and it makes a I had a brilliant legal career, and if I were to trace the timeline for you, April, it was around 2014. 2014 was a sort of a, I would say, a crossroads for me.
Mhm.
It was a year that I lost my
Oh,
father,
wow,
and in the same span of losing my father, I had my first daughter, only daughter, and she was 3 months old at the time that my father passed away.
wow.
So it was an ending and also a beginning.
Yeah.
And in that time frame, I anyone who's ever lost a parent, anyone who's out there who's ever lost a parent, that our parents are grounded to our core,
Hmm.
and without a parent, you kind of feel like you're untethered,
Yeah.
and that is exactly how I felt. I know, April, you can identify with that, and in that moment, I struggled.
Yeah.
I struggled. And I went from someone who had everything together in this brilliant legal career to being a new mom with a 3 month old and have to
Mm.
look at the 3 month old and know that she never met her grandfather because
Wow.
by the time I could take her to New York, my grandfather was her grandfather was in ICU, couldn't do it, couldn't take
Mhm.
her to ICU. Of
Mhm.
course, now I think I would have smuggled her under my robe and taken ICU. And so I struggled in that time period, and I
Yeah.
was in a
Yeah.
depression, to be honest.
Yeah.
And,
Mm.
my husband during that time would bring my baby girl and just put her on my
Mm.
chest, just to remind me what I had to live for.
Mm.
But in these moments, April, I thought about my father and I
Mhm.
thought about her. And
Wow.
it was really important to me to connect his legacy of hard
Hmm.
work with the newborn that I was
Hmm.
watching and seeing grow every day.
Hmm.
And so I thought, I've got to find a way to connect him to her and move forward in this process.
You sound like me because I was pregnant with my daughter, my last daughter, who's now 17, when my mother passed away. And that's interesting. And because I was pregnant, I tried to defer my pain. And I
Mm,
deferred the pain, deferred the grief to keep her sound. I deferred the grief and I'm still grieving. And this my product, my the Jer candles comes out of grieving and also trying to help. And that's what's, that's the crazy thing that people don't understand. When a lot of times creativity is born out of the pressure, out of the
right,
pain.
right, right.
Because, and it's I'm sorry for your loss.
Hmm.
But I'm going to tell you something. Your father would be proud. You've got a great product. I wear this thing every day.
Thank
I put it on. I'm serious. I'm not joking. And it's still because normally I wear stuff out, but it still has that nice. You can still see the name on
Barbara.
it because typically all my yes, Barbara. It's still normally good, but I do. I wear it because it's so good. Because I looked at it and I looked through all of your people. Hey, Amir, one of our Black Business Monday people, Amir Horton, who has the timepieces. Thanks for joining, Amir. And I love this. And I said, let me go back to you and figure it out. But okay, so now the judges, everybody was looking at you in the courtroom. Your dad passed and you had a 3-month-old. Now, when did you and how did you start pulling this together to have these great? I mean, it's one thing to have a product, but the
Right.
packaging is nice. I mean, everyone can't find good packaging, and I'm just like this is weird. It's just amazing. I
Thank
love it. So how did you pull all of this? She's a lawyer, so that's probably some of it because you studied and
you.
researched, but go ahead.
So the main thing is that my father left me an inheritance, right?
Okay.
So in
Okay.
that time, small inheritance, part of what he worked for, I was one of 5 siblings, so I received my, fifth of that inheritance.
Hmm.
And as I was struggling to kind of get out of the depression, I had this inheritance and I needed to do something with it. But I knew that he was the one person on earth who really supported my dreams and believed in my
Hmm.
dreams. So I took the inheritance, which in the law we call a legacy. And
Hmm.
so I knew that I had this legacy. I knew he supported my dreams. So I had legacy dream. And I remembered that he wanted us to have a good life from education and hard work. And so
Hmm.
now I had legacy, dream, luxury. And that is the company name.
And then and you keep with the legacy because I'm looking. Okay, that this is one of now. Can people? Let me see. It's diamond diamond lip gloss. This is Selma, but this is a Delta. You've packaged for general packaging and you packaged it for our stores. I love that.
Hmm.
Selma. Now, Selma, when you talk about legacy, Selma is legacy. Selma is Bloody Sunday. Selma's voting rights. Selma
Right,
is all of that. And I'm
right.
trying to, you packaged it so well, I can't even open
So
them. Uh,
April, I'll tell you what happened.
mhm,
When I was naming the colors, the very first three
mhm.
colors I named were Lena Horne, Ruby D, and Natalie Cole.
Wait a minute, hold
And
on. Okay, and you got Cecily Tice. Well,
Cecily.
yeah, I got Lena right here. I love Lena Horne.
And so
If you
I
believe.
remember
Yeah.
eating at dinner with my husband, and he said, "So when you name these lip colors, what are you going to name them, right?" And that was an important question because you can have a vision for something, but what are you going to name it, and how will it connect to women, and how will women connect to your vision and your purpose?
Selma.
And I am just a natural born storyteller. I told him a story, and I said to him, when I was a young girl, I lived in a community outside of New York. It was in Westchester County, same town as Ruby Dee and Ozzie Davis.
Come on now.
Now they were Broadway, very well known internationally for Broadway and so forth. But in
Humanitarians,
our
actors, yes, all of that.
fantastic,
Rights activists,
but in
yes.
our town, they read at the public library, right, to children. They were pillars of our community. And so one day we went trick or treating and we were just knocking on doors. We were trick or treating. And I remember I knocked on a door, and guess who opened the door, April?
Ruby D and Ozzie Davis.
Ruby Dee herself opened the door. And she came out in this beautiful red floor length caftan. Okay. And it was the middle of the day, like early evening.
She was queening in the middle of the day.
Oh my gosh. I will never forget what she was wearing. It was a silk robe that was sashaying as she walked. And on her lips, she had the most beautiful ruby red
Oh
lip
my
color, which was really
gosh.
like the jewel. And so when my husband asked me, what do you want to name the lip colors? I knew that one of the colors and the first color had to be named for Ruby D. Davis. And that was the first color that I named. And I moved forward with other women who were, I thought about the March on Washington.
Oh
And I
wow.
thought the fact that Ruby D was the MC.
This is Ruby. Let me open Ruby D's lipstick right now
That's right.
because I opened Lena, but I'm opening it, and people are like, "Wow, oh, thank you, some of us cards."
Yes.
Yes, they were on last week, and her story is amazing. Thank you guys. And then someone said they're relating to your story. I lost my dad Christmas Eve in 2014. I was his caregiver, but losing him gutted me. But through that pain, I'm a writer and have done great work. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. Oh my
Pain
gosh.
into
You talk. Okay.
pain into purpose is exactly what happened to
Pain
me, just like her.
into
I
purpose.
took my pain and I turned it into my purpose because I couldn't stay there, April. I had to
Right.
continue. And I had a 3-month-old. Um,
Yeah.
and so by then I had Ruby, I had Lena, because we all know Lena Horne was known for signature red.
Wait a minute.
And
Wait a
then I
minute.
had,
Wait, it's two different reds. Okay. So this is
right.
ruby. This is that red you saw her coming. It's kind of it's showing up like orangey.
Yes,
But this is the red. This is the red. This is Ruby
exactly.
D. And this is Lena Horne. Look at this.
Right.
They're two different shades. You can see the shade. They're different, but I love it. Let me see. All right, now let me put ruby on.
Mm-hmm.
I might put ruby on my top lip. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Very well pigmented.
Thank
Hold on.
you. So
Oh
that same,
my gosh.
see how gorgeous that is?
Mm.
And that will
Oh my gosh.
all day, April.
Mm. Mm.
I mean,
I've got I got it on top of Barbara
mhm.
already. So
and
I'm telling you guys. Go
and
ahead. I'm sorry.
the stories of these women to me
Hmm.
stood out because I felt like activism is what their lives were about. Like I said, when I thought about the March on Washington,
Hmm.
there was Ruby D, there was Lena Horne. There were only about 3 women who attended
Yeah.
a position of prominence in
Mahalia.
that
What
Jackson.
about the dream? What about the dream? Do we have
Hmm.
Mahalia?
And so we don't have one of her yet, but those are the women that I thought about.
All right.
And I thought about
Uh-huh.
the activism of Lena Horne, refusing to perform for segregated audiences, and
Yes.
the the leadership that that showed in how now we live in a desegregated. We can go to theaters and so forth, and everyone is integrated, and not blacks in one section and whites in another because of her activism.
So
So
he,
those.
so yeah, I love that. But here's I want to tell you this. We are talking. We already got some BMCCR 123. Is like where can we purchase? So I need you, um, Catherine. I need you to put this in the uh put it in here now. Put it in the chat so we can do
Okay.
this. So people know where who you are and what's what. This is amazing.
So the color.
This is amazing.
I mean, the website is easy to remember. It's Glam Up, GLAM. I'm putting it in the chat. Glam Up.
The card stock is wonderful.
Thank
It's, I mean,
you so much.
guys, this is this is luxury. This really is. I love the feel of the lipstick. How did you go in, pick the colors? How did you? There we go. I got you.
Okay,
I'm gonna pin it.
pin it.
How did you go in and pick the lipstick? How did you even find the people who make lip gloss, etc.? This is
So
beautiful.
I did my research. I have always been a makeup girl for as long as I can remember, all through high school, all through college. You can think of the first black makeup lines. There was a Maybelline Shades of You or Revlon Color Style. Those were the first introduction I
Mhm.
had, fashion fair, to
Yeah.
makeup. And so
Yes.
I began testing colors that I thought would be, first of all, things that I thought would inspire women. I felt like every woman needs a signature red. And
Yes.
it was important to me that the ingredients be vegan, because I know that a lot of makeup out there isn't good, has a lot of
Lead
lead
in it.
things, and particularly for Black women.
Yeah.
we are dying because of toxins
Yes.
in makeup, our environment, and in our, wherever we are. So that was important to me, that whatever I produced, it was going to be clean, and women could actually feel confident in the fact that every single time they picked up something from Legacy Dream Luxury, they could be at ease that the ingredients are super clean. And
Okay.
that's the key.
Okay, someone said thank you for sharing your passion. And if you want to get Legacy Dream Luxury, I did. I mean, she was just on Instagram and I was like, let me check this out. Because I looked at it. I like, right now I'm into this brownish, the natural mode, but it feels so good.
Thank
And so we're going to
you.
www.glamup.com. Okay.
Yeah.
Now for Cicely Tyson. For Cicely Tyson. This is Cecily. This is gorgeous. Oh, let me put that on the other side of the lip. Oh, gosh, look at. Okay. Oh my goodness, it's deep and it's pigmented.
Rich.
Hmm. Oh Lord, look at that. I've got Cecily here, and I've got Ruby over here. Lord have mercy. It feels good, and I mean
It's
it moisturizes your lip as well. It because you know how sometimes you wear makeup and it's dry.
it's
It's
dry.
rich.
And
It's dry.
when
I don't like dry.
matte lipsticks, I didn't want them to be drying. I wanted them to be moisturizing mattes
We got a bunch of hearts. We got a bunch of hearts on that.
that wouldn't crack your lips, and
No
would
crack in here.
stay.
I can't do that.
And also didn't smell toxic. Did you
It
notice
ha-
that, April?
they have fragrance. They have
When
a pleasant
you smell
yes.
it, it doesn't smell toxic, so you don't
Mm-mm.
get that chemical.
No, no. It's not like, remember back in the day, I'm not going to say, like when I was growing up and I wanted to get a little lipstick or lip gloss, I went to little 5 and 10 or whatever you call them. And there was some that were like real cheap, but you wore it anyway, made your made your lip crack, and it didn't smell that good. This is not, this is quality, guys. Now, which one is this? This is a Delta. This is another Delta. This is a Delta Insignia.
Mm-hmm,
Okay,
mm-hmm.
and it's Mary. Okay, I don't know who Mary. Which one is Mary? Mary McLeod Bethune.
Absolutely. Mary McLeod,
Amen.
after
Amen.
Cookman College, after, all of the things that she's responsible for.
Oh my gosh! Look at that. The
And
clearness,
that color is interesting because it looks sort of clear
curly,
and white,
curly. Yeah,
but then
yeah.
it comes up warm on the lips. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
and don't you think, April, that women today, we don't just want makeup, right?
Hmm.
We feel like
We want to look cute.
we got to look cute, but we also want to be connected to things that have purpose, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the reasons why I wear the colors is because they're inspiring. They remind you, if you have a meeting or if you're in a boardroom, they remind you that if these women could do these amazing things in their lives, then you too, in
Hmm.
everything you're in,
Hmm.
can manage to do
Yeah.
as well.
I literally, because some days I forget the lip gloss. I'm like, dang on it. And see, what I'll do is I'll put the chestnut on and I'll put whatever color I put on and I put another color and I'll put that on top. I said, why do I need to put that like little burst of color there when Barbara is that burst of color? And it just makes, I mean, I'm looking at it doesn't look overly done, but they feel, my lips feel
Yeah.
good. I'm just, I told you, look, I'm, I'm a fan. So, and I'm a fan from seeing you on Instagram and buying. And I said, why don't you come on Black Business Monday? And you see, I kept your signage. I
Yeah.
kept her thank you. I wasn't playing.
I love
I was,
I love
I
that. I love that.
I was yeah, so I buy us, and this is about everybody's like, oh my God, so and so is being boycotted. I can't go anywhere. I can't get my favorite. Well, guess what? There are other favorites made by
But
us, which keeping the money circulated. So now I'm going to this palette, this
absolutely.
eyeshadow palette. Now, everyone is not in a sorority, and everyone is not a Delta. Do we have eye palettes like this that are for mainstream America or for regular America?
At this time, we don't have them like for today for people to purchase, but we're working on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, yeah. So, guys, just stay tuned, but we're still going to show it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But just
Oh, I
an
love
important
this.
point though, April, because the line has two makeup lines. Because even though I'm in a sorority, my mother, my cousins, my sisters are not sorority members. So I was very intentional in making sure that all 16 colors that we make come in legacy branded, which is for absolutely everyone.
Mhm.
And then they also come in Delta Sigma Theta branded, which is obviously for women of Delta Sigma
Oh
Theta.
my gosh.
And this is important because the Delta collection is for Deltas, but for example, last Friday, I get a call from Niecy Nash Betts, and she says to me, Kath, I am wearing your lip colors today. I have a whole day of press. We are promoting things for Emmy season,
It
and
feels
my body,
good. It feels good.
yes,
That's a big push from Niecy Nash Betts. I
absolutely
have to remember her last name. That's a big
right.
deal.
And she said in her video, she said, I'm channeling my inner Lena Horne, right? And you think about the fact that as an Emmy winner, she's a recent Emmy winner, multi Emmy winner, the fact that she's remembering that she walks in the legacy of Diane Carroll, of all of those women who
Barbara
got to,
Jordan, that's
and
mine.
so it's
Barbara Jordan.
lips.
That's what I wear daily. I'm channeling Barbara Jordan daily.
You're
I'm not joking. This is in my bag, guys. This is because I'm like, lip gloss. I will run out of lip gloss fast, but this is, I don't really consider this a lip gloss. This is like lipstick, lip gloss. It stays, it's moisturizing. So now let's go to this. Okay, let's go to the eyeshadow palette. Okay. All right, so she's working on a palette for everyone,
right.
but this palette is a daytime palette, I think, and then you can brighten it up for nighttime with the shimmer. I'll tell you about that later. You'll see. Or if you need to put a little red or something on it, you can. Let me show you. Okay. This is so nice. It is so nice. I love it. Look at those colors. And we can wear
Beautiful.
all of these colors. We can wear all, and look at the mirror up top. We can wear all of these colors.
Yes.
You got your
And the other thing,
crease, you got your shimmer, you got your what is it? The color, the foundation for the eye, you got your contour. Yes.
and so women can wear these on the eyes, cheeks, and lips. So, for example, these bronzes can be worn on the cheek as a highlight, anywhere the sun would kiss you. And then you can wear them in a strapless dress on your shoulder. You would just sweep the colors on your brush and then wear them on your shoulders for just a little bit of shimmer. And then some of the other palettes that are on the website, these are on the website. I didn't send you this one, April, but this is
Let's see.
another one. See this?
Oh wow.
And
Oh wow.
that
Hold that up more. That is fabulous.
and you guys see that red shimmery color that can be
Yes.
on the lips. So imagine a very shimmery red lip with that shade on top of
Mm.
your lip gloss, and that can be for like a sneaker ball, of some sort of
So you put it
formal.
on the lip
You
gloss.
put on,
So let me tell you something. I like that better than putting that glue on your lip.
yes,
Mhm.
yes. So that goes right on top of the gloss, no glue, and it will hold for the rest of the
You
day.
know, that reminds me of one of our sorors, Shirley Ralph. I saw her in Wicked. She on Broadway. She was Madame Moraba. Excuse me, and Morable, Madame Morable. And she had this red uh shimmery lipstick, glitter lipstick. That's what that is.
Absolutely.
Mm. It's amazing. Excuse me, guys. You know I'm outside, so outside comes with pollen, the bees, and everything. So I'm drinking water. This is amazing. So what else do you have to show?
So I have that, and we also make brushes. So that was this is the second.
What?
There's a third palette, which is very similar, and it also has shimmery
Mm.
colors and smoky eye color in the
Yeah,
bottom
I
so
see
that
the
you can.
black. Is that black or gray?
It's purple. It's just a smoky eye purple that can make your eyes like deep, smoky purple
Those
for a smoky eye.
shimmers in the middle are beautiful.
And they just thank you. They can be worn on the lips, on the eyes, and it's just a multi-use palette. And
Wow.
just so you know, this is the very first Delta Sigma Theta branded palette created. So
Amen.
when I first came along, no one had ever been licensed to use the trademarks of Delta Sigma Theta for cosmetics, and I became the first woman to do that. And so that is another thing that is very unique about these products, because in my vision had always been,
Hmm.
because I sorority, I had always thought that women would just be able to, have their palette, go to meetings, and be able to touch up their
Hmm.
makeup with their palettes, their brushes, and everything that was Delta branded. So, and it's also important to note, April, that no other sorority, historically Black or otherwise, has been
Hmm.
makeup collection.
Well, let me say this to you. Since you've already unlocked the keys, I don't understand why you can't. And I know that, we're Delta, but this is also a business. So you started at home.
Mhm.
You started at home.
Understand
But
that.
I mean, I could see other sororities saying, "Hey, wait a minute, could you do something for us?" This is a business as well. I could see that. I mean, this is magnificent, and I mean, this is just. I'm just bowled over because as kids, girls, we like to play in makeup.
We do.
You really playing in makeup, and I'm
Yeah.
just like. So, is this for you full time now, or are you still being a lawyer and going about your business, and this is a side hustle? Because I
No,
see this going higher.
this is absolutely not a side hustle. This is a full-time job. And for example, last conference, there was a conference that was a national significant conference last summer in
Mhm.
Philadelphia, and we were a corporate sponsor for that conference. So all
Wow.
of the collegiate women received Lena Horne lip glosses. So
Mm.
air Lena in their interviews. And they had me come in and speak to the collegiates. And many of the collegiates thought, wow, I have never seen someone who looks like her, who is a lawyer and also could have a business at the same time. And that thought that they can pursue a legal career and then on top of that also have a lip gloss line, an
Hmm.
eyelash line, pursue other passions. For collegiates, that was something they hadn't thought about. And so when we were, a sponsor, one of my just passions was to have them know that there's such a roadmap. Because if you
Hmm.
can't see people who look like you doing something, you have to
Yes.
see a physical manifestation of what you look like actually achieving these things in order for you to see yourself doing them in your vision as well.
You got Niecy Nash bragging about it. You got me just looking. You didn't come to me. I came to you. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I love this, Barbara. This is my daily, guys. And I'm not joking. I've been using Barbara. I love Barbara. Barbara is the
Mhm.
bomb. And but since I put my lips on everything else, I'll be using everything else.
Yes,
Yes. So, it's interesting to hear so many different. Black people are inventive, we are
yes,
innovative, and
yes.
we do things that everybody else does. We just don't have the opportunity to show it. And that's one of the reasons why we have Black Business Monday with Catherine here, talking about it. It's just like it's important, right? It's
Right,
important because a lot of times we're not offered the chance to show it other than on social media. And a lot of times, unfortunately, our visions die, our passions die because we don't have those avenues. So I'm trying to uplift Black business as much as I can. I believe in circulating the dollar and I believe in uplift because when we boycotting or saying we're not going somewhere and where can I get this? Right here.
right.
Ladies, right here.
Right. And it's interesting because the recent boycotts have drawn out just how powerful our
Our
influence is.
dollars,
And the
yes.
fact that when we can direct our dollars within
Hmm.
a particular direction or even withhold our dollars, how that is a shift,
Hmm.
a complete shift. And so I am all about, not just spending money within my
Hmm.
community, but also making sure that the next generation, like my
Yeah.
daughter,
Yeah.
she can do in terms of, her goals and her dreams within her community.
So Amir Horton just asked, what are your biggest challenges that we as a community can support you with? What are your biggest challenges that we as a community can support you with? That's a good question, Amir. Thank
It's
you.
an excellent question. And one of the biggest challenges, I think, is just getting the word out.
Mhm.
And that's why I appreciate April and your platform so much. Getting the word out, which means sharing with one another. If there are those who see this either in this session or even on the replay and you have influence in your positions, we're invited to corporations to talk
Mhm.
about purpose,
Mhm.
businesses, female owned businesses, and how people would find their purpose and turn it into business, turning passion into business. If you have, if people who are in the world of marketing and
Mhm.
magazines, that is extremely important, particularly for these times, because, you had the Met Gala last Monday, where all of the
Mhm.
attendees were determined to wear Black designers in their clothing. But not as many knew about a lip collection like mine to wear colors like that as well, because from head to toe, many people were dressed in, black everything, black designers, black,
Mm,
or handbags, even black makeup artists. And so what people can do to help is to get the word out. Share this video, share our other videos with your friends, with your church, with your sorority members, or any of the groups that you have any visibility with in your neighborhood. Drop it in the
yeah,
chat.
yeah.
Um,
So let me ask you this. Did you do pop-ups?
I
Did
have,
you start off doing pop-ups?
I have, I
Mm,
started exactly that way, doing pop-ups. A friend of mine created and this is exactly to the question, Amir's question. A friend of mine, right after the pandemic,
mm,
curated this beautiful makeup and mimosas event, right?
mm,
Says it's we've been in a pandemic, we've missed our girlfriends, we haven't seen anyone. And she said, Kathy, your story touches
mm,
me. Would you come and just be the guest for my makeup and mimosas? Share your story with these
mm,
women. Do a few
mm.
demonstrations. Show them how to do a 5 minute face, for an interview, for church, for different things. And I got there, and she had a room packed of maybe 30 women in her
People
home.
wanted to get out.
That's beautiful. And, so she did it at the pandemic. She's done it again since, with a breakfast and, like I said, mimosas, just a nice little spread for women to fellowship with one another and get
Mhm,
together. And in that time, I shared my story, and other women shared their stories. And
mhm.
then, by the time I left there, I had sold out everything that I had. So I've
Wow.
pop-ups just like that.
So out of the pain comes the passion. You've done pop-ups. You were a lawyer. People, the judges were leaning over the bench. Hey, I know I got a rule on this, but what you wearing? How did you do your makeup? Blah, blah, blah. And that inspired you to say, wait a minute. You went from being a lawyer to now having these great cosmetics and eyeshadows and brushes. I need a good brush. And we need to learn how to take care of our brushes because the hairs will come out if we don't do it right. I'm saying that because I got two brushes I'm mad that I messed up. But anyway,
Ours won't do that, just so you know. We have two sets of brushes, and they will not shed on you. They
how? How?
Are you kidding me? These are the brushes I used today before I actually did my makeup. They're
Do
they're tested,
you
and
have your brushes with are they on sale at
yes, I
glamup.com?
they're
Let me
two they're two
show
sets.
me a brush real quick. Show me a brush real quick.
Let's see, where are my brushes? Uh,
And she's no longer a lawyer. This is her full-time passion, her
you're putting me
pursuit.
to task, April, but let's see what I have.
Okay, I am.
Um,
I am.
the
Reese
brush.
Nash Betts uses her makeup and her
I'll get you the
lipsticks and stuff.
brushes so you can see what they just give me. I'm getting them so you can see an example of what
Okay.
I have, because brushes are shedding, and people, I was always buying brushes. I would go to Target and I'd buy e.l.f. brushes, and they just weren't very, very, I hate to mention a name, but I was using, brushes and different things.
I was
So what I did,
spending a lot of money on brushes and I got two of them because they say it depends on your brush. Your brush is supposed to be how your makeup lays and I'm like,
exactly,
oh Lord.
you have the right brush, your results will be completely different. And if you have the wrong brush, your results will be completely different. So
Yeah.
the quality of brush that you use, helps determine if your makeup is going to come out flawlessly or not. This is one of the sets that we had. Um,
Ooh, wait a minute. Bring it closer in. Bring it closer in.
this-
We got, oh my gosh.
so this was the flawless blending brush set.
Is
It
that is
came.
that's one of so one is it one of them a contour brush and the other one is like a foundation stippling brush?
The super powder brush. This is an angled brush. You see that it has an angle for what you would do here is contouring the edge of your cheeks this way and that way.
Yeah.
Contour. And then this is a foundation brush, which actually you would dip in foundation. You can use it to blend. This easily replaces a beauty blender. If you see the way that the top
Yeah.
is,
Beauty
the grip,
blenders are bad news, they say, because they keep bacteria, and I love my beauty blenders.
and this
Yeah.
this will if you, I mean, anyone who's used these brushes, you'll throw it away, because
Oh
it's just the
God.
only way. It just, the results are so flawless. And because I'm a perfectionist, April, I wanted, women would say to me, how am I going to get all of this, and they would point to my face. And I wanted women to be able to get tools that would make it very easy for them to look just as flawless as I do. So I test them, I make sure that they're perfect. This is what I wanted to show you. These are the Diamond Diva brushes. They come in Delta branded and Legacy branded. So for example, you see the handle, you see the bristles, they
And I
come
see the bling too.
right. You see the lid, so it comes for, if you're Delta, you can purchase the Delta one, or if you're not, there's a Legacy branded version of this, and these are 12 brushes in a bag. Let me show you the
Really?
bag. So the bag,
Okay.
um, sorry. So this is the brush itself, and then the bag is just like this, a
Oh,
leather
that's
bag
beautiful.
that has on the front, if your Delta, it has the Delta, or it can be Legacy branded, and 12 of them come in a set.
So 10 years we have gone from the courthouse to now full time doing this.
Absolutely.
And wow, this is amazing. And you know what? She used her inheritance, her dad's, the legacy,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
legacy, her dad's inheritance. And I'm sure he's proud of you. And someone said, AKA, yes, we love AKA. And you can still get the
Yeah.
lipstick, the eyeshadows.
So you
There
can
are
get
things you can get.
yes, you
Yeah.
can get the Legacy branded version of everything. All 16 lip colors and the brushes are available. Some of my best friends are AKAs, and they support the Legacy line of the business. And it's just, today it touched my heart because I thought about my father, and I
Yeah.
thought about how he was the person I would call to say, Daddy, guess who I'm meeting with today? And he was incredibly well read.
Mhm.
A man whose research won a Nobel Prize, incredible legacy, published until his 70s. In his 70s, he was
That's why you
publishing.
talking legacy, because your dad is a legacy. Come
Right,
on.
right. And he
See that?
was, and so he was publishing articles in medical journals till he was 78, 9 in his life.
No.
So every day when I'm working and I'm shipping off packages and I'm thinking about like the products that I create, I think about that. And I thought about today that I would have called and said, Daddy, I'm
Mm,
sitting down with April Ryan, and he would have known exactly who you were. And
thank
he said, tell her, thank you for pressing our issues
you.
the 5 presidents, because
Thank you.
news and all of the things. So,
I'm
uh,
still there.
so
I'm still there. I'm writing an article now and I'm still there. But Mondays are designated for this. And thank you for that. And I had a mom who was like that too. And I love the fact, the legacy. We talk about generational wealth.
right,
That this story right here is so much of
it
that.
is.
And I want to say also, DJ Prince Hakeem, thank you for being on here. I see you joined. This is that. This is that generational wealth. This is that taking it, not just buying a car, some red bottoms. You take you're taking it and creating something for your child.
Right,
You are leaving being a lawyer. You studied hard to be a lawyer.
I did.
And then makeup is now your passion, your research. And I'm not going to say it's a wasted thing, because you have that cerebral capability to go research and go farther than other people can. And
Mhm.
this is what you've created. Now you are in a space, this is full time.
Absolutely.
And I'm loving my Barbara. So guys, this is so worth it. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I want to speak to every person who
Mm,
has a dream,
yeah.
because I'm a dreamer and I've been a dreamer my entire life. And I want to just speak to those people who have always wanted to do something but have never felt they had the opportunity, or never felt like they had the support to do it. And I just want to tell you that God will send you the people your
Mm,
dream if you would actually execute the vision that he's put in your heart. I didn't know people like Niecy Nash Betts. She lived across the country. But because I followed my vision, and because I um, believed in
mhm,
what God sowed in my heart,
mhm,
I created these products, and I'll never forget, I wrote her a note and I said, you will win the Emmy in Jesus' name.
mhm.
Okay. And I prayed over the package and I shipped it across the country. right? And so what people are waiting for is for a moment to present itself that's like an ideal moment, or customers and so forth. But what people need to know is that if you would follow the vision that
Yes.
revealed to you,
Yeah.
then God will send you the people.
Yes, he will.
Today, one of my best friends, and so you people who are friends and family have turned family. All of the people who are on this live, folks who will send me tubes, empty tubes, and say, I'm out. I get pictures of empty tubes.
They
Women
think you're
who,
Mac. They think you're Mac. The trade in,
yeah.
and Mac doesn't trade in anymore. So,
So I just want to talk to those people to let them understand that you can create something, especially those things. Everything that I created was divinely inspired,
Mm,
things that God put in my heart. And also the fact that what I learned from losing my father,
mm.
and I'll share this with you too, April, because I know Saturday and all of the things
Oh
were
God,
difficult.
yeah, yeah,
And what I learned is even when you lose, you're winning, right? You're winning. Even when you lose, you're winning. So
yeah.
in that pain, you can find your purpose, and in every scenario I can think of, tethered back to the beginning. You think of Easter and Jesus Christ, and on the third day and resurrection. There's so many examples of thinking that you're losing, and
Mm,
actually that's the way that God is showing you your purpose. Every time I was in a courtroom and someone asked me about lipsticks, that was God showing me my purpose. Every time
yeah.
someone stopped me in a supermarket and said, was on this earth. So I just want people to understand that
Mhm,
if you would obey that calling, that God will
mhm.
send you the people to support the vision that He has put in your heart. You don't need to know them, they don't need to be family.
Yeah.
He'll send you those people, and He'll help you build a legacy and pick up the pieces the way I did. My daughter is now 11 years old. She was a 3-month old when I created Legacy Dream Luxury, and now she's thinking of her own businesses, right?
My Lord. You know what? And I'm going to say this. Out of the pain came your purpose, but your father lived so you could live. And the
Yeah.
same with mine. And I love that. And Amir, who has timepieces, he was on here. He said, I needed that. I'm going to tell you, I think in listening to you, and other people have said amen. Our AKA friend said amen. Thinking, just listening to you talk, I said, you know what I need to do? I need to do an April's favorite things of all the things, yeah,
Mhm.
all the businesses that we've put together so far. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think I'm going to do that maybe this week or next week. So
Yeah.
listening to you and your story and your testimony, through your test came the testimony, and I receive it. I think there's a lot coming. I want to
Yeah.
thank you. I want to thank you.
You so much, April. And like I said, when we talked earlier, the thought that, as Smithsonian, there are those who would want to silence our
Oof.
stories or erase our stories. And for every woman who wears her lip gloss, her Ruby D or Lena Horne or
Mhm.
Barbara Jordan or, Nancy Wilson, there's 16 colors. Every single time a woman is wearing that lip gloss, she's reminding herself that
Mhm.
when I go into corporate America, when I go into my job, when I
Mhm.
deal with my children, that I can do it. And our stories are continued. We need to tell our stories so that we can know our history,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
important
Yeah.
reason. Um, and my daughter, when she went to school, it was Black History Month, and she said there were women like this on the wall. And
Yes.
she says, Mommy, I could point out the picture of
Yeah.
Shirley Chisholm and know that she was the first to run on a major presidential ticket. And she was 5 at that time, and she
First black
knew.
woman.
And so
Yes.
that's me passing on my history
Yeah.
to her, regardless of on the outside whether others are erasing it. I can tell her that in her life during dinner, and